Welcome to ECN Trade Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you for joining me. Looking at the start of this week, the Australian dollar has struggled to snap out of its bearish momentum, and as we now fall into the sixth consecutive day, we can see that the market is heading very much close to its challenge of 64.45.55. I do feel from there we could get a bullish response like previously seen back in May and start another, or in terms of how the market should unfold to a bullish outcome. It is seen as the oversold conditions are putting a bit of a worry to the downside. However, the trend is still somewhat strong to the bearish case. Let's see how the market fares out today, and if it can rebound, then we're looking back towards 65.30, or with the objective, which was rejected, that was at 66 cents. Do note though, beneath 64.45 exposes the region somewhere around of 64 cents. Moving on to the euro, the market is still somewhat negative as the dollar index, which measures the greenback strength against a basket of 6 major currencies, holds around 102.70. In light of the pattern, the market for the euro still appears destined to reach its objective, somewhere around 107.75.85. In economic data, on Friday, the release of the July US inflation reading came in somewhat slightly faster than expected, stoking concerns that the US Federal Reserve will be keeping its interest rates higher for longer. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Friday's data showed that the US PPI, or the Producer Price Index, for the final demand rose 0.3% in July, missing the forecast of 0.2%. During the 12 months, though, July, the PPI rose by 0.8%. Meanwhile, this week, we've got the US FOMC meeting minutes, and along with that, US retail sales. So no doubt the market will still be a little bit to the bumpy side, but overall, as the pattern slowly drops, should eventually reach its objective. And the dollar index most probably could get around 103.50. So there's still about 80 points left on the upside. The dollar yen case, well, as you can see, the bulls are cheering as we've reached the objective of 145, or more to the point, around 145 figure 40. We did get to an intraday high of 145.21 this morning, and the market is a little bit overbought, but the trend is somewhat positive, and therefore still can put a little bit more upside pressure. Now, although the market is overbought, clearing 145.40 would give further exposure and on towards the region, somewhere around 145.95 to about 148. However, with the weekly still showing a bit of divergence here and the dailies being somewhat overbought, does warrant a pullback, and that is towards the region somewhere around 143.80 and reassess. Looking at the pound, the market is still somewhat negative, even though we did see a brief up challenge on Friday. From the market's current pattern, I feel there is a little bit more downside to come. That could look towards 126.55, and then from there maybe see a bullish response due to the fact that we're getting a little bit oversold and a bit of divergence there. And if we do see a bounce around 126.55, then we can see a recovery back to about 128. But we still need to clear this key level of 128.20 to get the next move up to 130. Wrapping up with gold and oil, the market is somewhat negative as it now posts an intraday or fresh 1 month low of 1,910. I still feel, since taking out the level of 1,915, that we are looking further to the downside and somewhere towards the region of 1,850 as initial target. Wrapping up with oil, the market was a little bit hesitant since reaching this objective of 83.5. I feel now there is a slight pullback in the current making and therefore look towards 81.70. A break there will give further scope down towards the region of 78.80 and reassess. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you very much for joining me, and as always, look after the intro report, and I hope you enjoy the great start to the new week.